Welcome to a special episode of Keep Talking, and I think it's fitting that this is coming to you from Goa because as the year winds down, the old year winds down and a new year starts off, Goa is a good setting to have a conversation. And my guest today is someone I've been watching quite closely over the past year. That's because of some of the finest performances we've seen in cinema in the last year have come from her or have been by her. And she's also interesting to me, particularly because she seems to be getting her authentic self to the media or in her media interactions, which is unusual if you're in showbiz. But then I guess you shouldn't be surprised because she's chosen her last name as a Malayalam word which translates as mischief. Please welcome Kani Kusruti. Mischief? Why would you pick mischief as your last name?
I think I my behavior is a bit mischievous, so it's right only to put that as second name.
But you chose it?
Yeah, so both my parents didn't want to have caste or religion attached to my things in when they were putting me in school. And I think, according to our Indian constitution, we don't need it. Yeah. But I think my mother still had to argue with the administrators in the school to not put the caste or religion. And then they agreed to it finally. Then they were asking what's her second name. And I did not have any second name. It was just Kani. So they were like, that's not possible. She should have some name. How can she come out of anything? Like, no, is she coming out of nothing? Something like that. So my mother said, it's just Kani. You can just put Kani. And then they said, no, we will put her father's name. So then my mother was like, no. And then she was, I think, quite fed up by that time. Then she said, okay, she has an initial K. So randomly she said this K. And then when I grew up, for passport, for electoral ID, everything, you have to expand this K now. And I go back home and ask them, what is this K? And then they were like, both my parents are sports, so they started saying a lot of funny words in Malayalam. One was Kunda Mandi, means the troublemaker. Then said Kalli. Kalli means liar. You are such a good liar, so you should have this name. And they started,
Kalli.
Yeah, all that kind of name starts with K. They were saying. And one of the word was Kusruti. I think my father only said that too. And I was like, And I was also a teenager. I was like, okay, I'll put Kusruti. And I just put it like that, not thinking much. But I think it worked well before, when I was younger, like when I have to go to some official bureaucracy work or like bank job where people have been working whole day and they are very tired and bored by the end of the day, and I arrive with my application and they always have a smile when they read my name, especially Malayali officers. Right. They're like, Kusruti, is this your name? And they start laughing.
But what is so interesting, Kani, is look at the effort to create an identity and look at your effort and not to conform to society's need to create that identity, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I thought about it in that way.
At that time. But
no, not even now. Did. I was just thinking, second name name should be fun. It also a bit. I am a bit mischievous, so it's right.
It fits. So the last year, 2024, has been quite remarkable because you've been acting for a while, and yet 2024 seems to be in a breakout year. Is that a fair way to describe it for you?
See, I think only when people recognize someone's work widely or some validation of it's winning something or you have a hit, that is when I think the number of people who's been, like looking at your work, that number when it increases is when people think of it as a successful journey or something sometimes. But I don't see it like that. One is because I grew up with... I was very fortunate to grow with a lot of amazing artists around me, and I know that the world doesn't know them, most of them. Yeah. I am very fortunate to have known them, and they are far better than me or anyone I know even, and they are doing their own work in their own little world, making a small change or in their life and to the lives they are surrounded with in their own way. And it just, I think, this year was celebrated like globally or widely that people are like, a large number of people are seeing it.
Yeah.
That is the only difference. Like you said, I don't see it. I mean, I am happy in a way. I'm not disregarding it in terms of any other reason, but I'm happy in a way like independent filmmakers or artists who stay to their own integrity and all, they find it very difficult to work or find funding for the film, to find their audience. So Payal, kind of an author, having a journey like this, or Shuchi having another journey like that, probably can ease someone else's path. I'm hoping for that. I don't know. Like me, myself, I won't call myself as has that much integrity in terms of the work I choose. I sometimes have done work which I particularly may not be happy to be part of. I have done all kinds of work. I continue to do so. But I know artists around me and everyone who keeps their integrity intact, and I have humongous respect for them. And when and sometimes I get to work with them, and when it has a journey like these films had, I just hope that other artists who keeps their integrity so well and they are not willing to sacrifice it on anything else, I just wish their journey becomes slightly easier. That's all how I see it.
Let's talk a little bit about independent cinema, because the success of All We Imagine Is Light, Girls Will Be Girls are a big hurrah for independent cinema. And there are other films that have also come to light, right? We're just talking about these two because you've participated in both. How should one see independent cinema? Is it about pure artistic freedom for the author, director? Is it about not being constrained by commercial expectations of a mainstream film-going audience, of a producer's money, because it's big money investment? How do you see independent cinema? Or is it the freedom to say exactly what you choose to say?
I don't think any films have ever made with exactly what they want to say. Unfortunately, a lot of people are involved in this, and in some way or the other, they will come in the way of the author, otherwise too, whether it's commercial or independent film. Even in very few authors had, I think, the freedom, or they slowly arrived at that freedom to probably compromise the least. But otherwise, you are negotiating with your producers and actors, and sometimes costumes, production design, so many things while you make the film. So I don't think there is ever that puritarian way of looking at like the way exactly you want to say is happening.
Especially for this medium.
Yes. Mainstream may have like private funders sometimes, and who is willing to put in a certain kind of money with the market, it's there. And independent films are not made from that kind of private funders mostly. It is made from some grant and everything also, or crowdfunding sometimes. And I don't see it in a creative way differences, like, because even commercial films or independent films, you do compromise to certain extent sometimes in your creativity. You may fall into certain kind of things. All can happen in both. And maybe some artists individually not compromising. That's all I can see. Even in commercial films, I know directors who may compromise the least, and they will stick with their own style and their own wanting to say, and they're commendable and incredible. But I don't have this classification of independent and commercial, honestly. I think it's good films and bad films, and films trying to be there. And for me, it will be, this film was a good film to me. It worked for me. And there are, these films didn't work for me. It was a bad film. And I also realized within my lifetime, after 10 years, I watch a film that I did not like. I'll be like, I'm liking this film right now. That also happens. And some film that I liked, in retrospect, I am not liking this film. So all that happens. It's a continuous process, because film is something recorded and it is staying there forever. And in a lifetime or in the future that to come, the films will be analyzed, the same films that we celebrated may be analyzed differently as well. That's how I see. Even in not just politics, I'm talking about aesthetics, craft, everything.
Everything, yeah. But you use the word politics. Flashback to Cannes, when the entire cast and crew went up, you had that famous watermelon bag, which was your way very clearly, subtly but very directly, to show support for the cause of Palestine, which is being targeted. It's the target of genocidal war. That kind of a political statement, which is your statement, right? Would it have been possible for you to make in a non-independent film context? Would you be able to make that kind of a political statement if you were part of, I don't know, some big production where everything would be monitored very carefully?
I think so. There too you can. Because it's not, I don't think Cannes was different. They also had protocols. Nobody knew I was going to have it.
Oh, you just sprung.
Yes.
You didn't tell the other
Anyone,
guys.
no one knew. So even there were protocol calls, there were things was told to us what would festival may appreciate and won't appreciate. I think one can if they want to. And of course, it still is difficult. I'm not saying it is easy for everyone, everywhere. Would I do the same thing if I am in a war zone? I wonder, would I run away from there? Like, what do I do? Do I have the strength then to stand up? Am I standing up because I have a place with a lot more privilege where I know I'm safe to go back to sleep? So a lot of people may not be able to stand up because they may not even have the privilege to stand up, you know. So I'm not seeing it as, for me with my privilege, I think I'll be able to. And sometimes it's a choice, sometimes it's no, but everyone doesn't have that choice also. So I don't see it as like, oh, everyone should do it, or why you didn't do it. I'm also coming with a lot of privilege, you know.
But did you get any feedback, any blowback of any kind, because you talked about protocols that were there in a festival, or what you can and you cannot do?
I mean, I don't think people were happy. Like, my team was happy because I think most of us are people who have solidarity with Palestine. So all of us were happy. But I'm sure, particularly from the festival, what I've been told was like to not take away the attention from the festival and do something else. So I understand that. But I was criticized for acting in a film which is called Biryani, which had Islamophobia.
I'm going to come to that.
So I was like, why would you support then this? Oh, you did that, why you are doing this? So that kind, and I think it's right only for them to point out that this person has been did this and that. But I don't see it only in that way, but I think it is right to be criticized me like that, and it's right to have a discourse like that. Yeah.
But you have no regrets?
No.
Like that famous French song, Je ne regrette rien. Is that...
Why would I regret? I should be only cautious of things. Not like I knew when I was doing the film Biryani, the things that I don't agree and I agree. But the thing is, for me as an artist, Biryani is not the only film I worked with where I was like, oh, this is not how I see this, or this is not how I see the politics of it, or aesthetics or craft. As an actor, I have been associated with many films or theatre productions even, where that's not how I probably will see the aesthetics, politics, everything in it. But I have chosen to work with things that I think, okay, I will try to do, or the conviction I have then, whatever that is. So someone is pointing out, no, Kani, at any cost you shouldn't have been associated with a film like Biryani because its politics is not right. I will hear them, but I will have my own answers why I did it and everything. And that doesn't take away my right to still have my politics personally, that what I believe in and everything. So I'll stand for the things I will stand for.
For people who haven't seen Biryani, it's a film which is a story about a Muslim family and a Muslim woman who's sort of ostracized or put out of the community because her brother has terrorist affiliations, right? And then what unfolds as a result of that. I don't want to go in, I mean, that is the past. But having said that, what do you make of today? What do you make of that film and where it stands? Is that what you feel comfortable with?
I mean, I have always expressed what I felt about the story to the director the day I read it. That's the same stand I still have. I still maybe chose to be part of it. But I know exactly what I think of that film, which I has discussed with the director and the crew. They also knew what my disapprovals, disagreements with the story or everything, that how I think. But I said, knowing our disagreements, let's make the film, because I think Sajjan has the right to make that film. It's his story personally as well, so he has all the right to say. And he said to me that, Kani, it's a community I am coming from and it is my story, and I completely believe he has all the right to say that story. If it's not me, another actor would do it. It is not my kind of a film for multiple reasons. It's not...
what are those reasons?
For me, to begin with, leave politics. Aesthetically, already it's not... I think that film has chosen a grotesque, more than grotesque, gore and grotesque. That is not artistically my kind of grotesque or gore. I feel that grotesque and gore is still a little bit titillating. It has a lot of male gaze, even when Sajjan or conscious. So all that I
How
disagree with.
Yeah.
In aesthetically, in the script itself, I could see it. But Sajjan is also not from a film school. He has watched his films from festivals and he's trying something on his own. And I respect that. He's in his way of discovering how to become a better director, probably. And for me as an actor, I have been given characters that is like a lead part where you have a graph and everything, but unfortunately I could never do any till then. Biryani is the first film I could do like that, so it was an opportunity for me to learn how to draw the graph of the character. Am I able to? Will I do? So I was curious too. So that was another reason I did it, because that was one opportunity I had to do. Then the political nuances in it, I have disagreements of the things that Sajjan says. I also don't think life was looked. I felt Sajjan's way of looking at life was very one or the other, kind of very
binary,
nuances. Binary were so strong and nuances were less. So I feel that's a lack of losing nuances is like very, very plain way of understanding life. So those are the disagreements I have. But even then, I have worked in many films like that. It's one of that film, and I'm okay. Like that's how I see it. Yeah.
There is a word that's used to describe you. You may or may not like it, and that is bold. Yeah. So the moment there are scenes of physical intimacy or nudity on our screens, and the choices, because you made those choices, you're a bold actor. You're a bold person.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
I actually have no comments about it. I don't even know what it means by people saying bold like that. Also, sometimes directors comes to, or most of us actors, and say this is a bold character because she smokes and then she drinks. We are like, most of us actresses, we all sit and laugh. We are like, why when a woman is smoking or if she's doing anything and then she's bold, and you know. I don't think personally also, because one actor was ready to do intimate scene or the film required a nudity in some scenes, and she was willing to do it, or he was willing to do it. That's not how they should determine their character being bold. I don't know what is bold really, except in the typeface or font being bold or italics. Honestly. I think people are all vulnerable, and I have been, if we're talking about strength, I think strength is something you achieve by living your life honestly and taking defeat, learning your mistakes, understanding how wrong you are in things, trying to course correct, and gaining a certain strength by life. But a lot of time, when I look at me, I am coming from a very privileged family in terms of how they've raised me. So a lot of these things come in very handy to me. So my strength has been not very strong. It's a weak point which is given to me. A lot of other things I have also fought and got, which will never be able to be taken away from me because I have it in me. But a lot of strength is also naturally was
inherited.
There. Inherited.
Yeah, it was a privilege of your birth.
Yes, so that is also there. So if somebody asks me, do I have the strength to face things that I have done in the past, and will I be able to own up to it, and will I be able to face if anybody criticizes me? Yes, I have. If that's what somebody means by bold, okay, maybe I'm bold.
You just said directors will come and say, oh, there's smoking, there's this, there's that, so it's a bold character and we've come to you. Is that limiting? Does that limit your choices?
Yeah, it is limiting to all characters, and it is not about these characters only. It's also about every characters. All my fellow actors say about this, that if they've done a comedy, then only comedy roles will come to them. If they've done a villain, then that's what's going to come to you. Like, in fact, including stars, I almost feel they don't have a choice too. They are repeating over and over and again. It is the same with storytelling as well. Because I think nobody wants to take risks, because this worked, so let's just make copies of the low risk as much as possible and make money out of it, because it is to do with the marketing and money. And I understand, I'm not disrespecting it, because it involves a lot of money. So producers, scriptwriters, directors, everybody wants this film to run and people to watch and make money, and least risk. This actor has done something that it's proven that he or she can do this, why not that again? oh, this story
Yeah.
is working
Yeah.
out now. These are the stories that is running these days. Why not make another film like that? Rather, oh, let's have diverse characters also. That's where it's coming from, and it has nothing to do with just actors who's willing to do intimate scenes or something. It is to do with any character. If like I generally would love to do comedy, but hardly comedy comes to me because whatever I've done in the past, if it doesn't have comedy much,
Yeah.
people would keep wanting to do.
So you have played a sex worker in at least 3 films. Are there more? There's Cocktail,
Yeah, and
Biryani
yeah,
eventually,
yes.
Nagendran's
Yeah,
Honeymoon.
Yeah.
Honeymoons.
Yes,
Honeymoons.
yes.
Yeah. Are there any more?
No, maybe there is a short film, I would say. Yeah.
Because I've read, or I've heard actually, I didn't read, but I've heard that your parents were among the
Yeah.
pioneers
Correct.
of, trying to get sex workers their rights.
Yes.
And some recognition, and in their fight also against HIV/AIDS.
HIV/AIDS, and
Yeah.
also they worked for the human rights for LGBTQ and all.
So
yeah.
because of that exposure, I wondered if you were sympathetic to characters where the roles, some of these roles are sex workers or women who do sex work. So I'm just wondering if there was any empathy or perhaps sympathy that you had because of your
I
familiarity
don't
with
have
your parents'
particularly
work.
sympathy or empathy to sex workers. They are really cool people. I don't think they want my sympathy or empathy. They're whoever I know or who I am in touch with. Amazing women, and they can't care less if I have sympathy or empathy to them. Honestly, no, I think it's just like when I work with some directors where they have given me a sex worker's character, I can see that the lack of understanding they have for these characters, because it is mostly coming from their stereotypical imagination of things that they've watched in the past or something, rather actually interacting with sex workers. I have felt the lack of the authors not having friends who are sex workers or like actually knowing them, and so it always, the characters were not written well, I thought, when I read, or it felt a lack of knowing, which is nothing to do with just sex workers. Many, like even when you play a doctor, when you play a policewoman, all of that time I also feel this, because when they watch it, they're like, this is not how it happens actually. Or every time, because as actors we are always been told from the actual professional people. Like right now I was playing nurse in Payal's film. To a certain extent I understand, because people can take a freedom of expression, and some things doesn't have to look realistic as it is or anything, but an overall idea of you are portraying a person, and from one of the characters, it should have some truth to it and some research to be done and everything. So only very few authors I have worked with have done that kind of authentic work whenever they want to put a character with a certain profession. So like, I never felt it's only about sex workers. Like sex workers, many other professions also, whenever the story comes to me, when I try to also do in my own understanding, mostly the people who actually do it will come and say, that's not how it's so that is true. So similarly, I felt some of these interpretation of the sex workers characters that is I have played also, I thought those are very peripheral. That's really not how we understand. That's not how we should be understanding all these characters.
What you see your role as an actor? Like, how do you see your role as an actor? What is the purpose of an actor? Because I find it very interesting when a movie is out, the actors overwhelmingly looming over everything, right?
Yeah,
the posters.
Everywhere, they are everywhere.
Yeah, and you're noticed the most, right?
Yeah.
But actually when you're shooting, and in production and in post-production, you're perhaps the least important.
Absolutely.
The most vulnerable, and the least in control. You have no control. You are literally clay in the hands of the director, the writer, the editor, camera person. So how do you see the role of the actor? What do you see your purpose as an actor?
I personally think in film particularly, I feel it's very disproportionate, the credit that actors get as opposed to other departments of the film, because everything in a film is so important, and without any of them this is impossible to be made. And of course, I always think at the end it is an author's made, it is a director's thing, and even when you said editors can edit it and everything, the director makes the final call mostly, which one. So I do think it's a director's medium. Even the directors are celebrated less most of the time compared to actors. So I think it's very disproportionately paid. Actors are also paid more, disproportionately celebrated also, because it's in the face. And I think humans have this, not maybe everyone, have some obsession to see yourself like, and you know, like when you, whatever you see is comes, like whatever is behind, we are not seeing. It is not obvious, or people who work behind it only will pay attention to it. Otherwise, what you see is the only thing is mattering to you, and that is obvious, hence it's happening. But otherwise, I think an actors, in a film at least, in theatre productions, I sometimes feel differently, because actors have more contribution, because it's a live performance, it's in your hand, you are almost a director sometimes in some things. And again, in theatre productions also, there are different kind of plays where it may be more on you as an actor, sometimes it's least, all that can happen. But in film, I think I think as an actor, I see it as like I try to surrender to the director's vision, also to understand it. Surrendering, what I meant is like negotiating and understanding, and then to surrender, and to see the team, how we are trying to do, and to understand the genre of the film and the tonality of this particular story, and what kind of style of acting this director is looking, what is the totality of everybody's performances, and how to have a similarity in it, or you know, like to find so I'm more of a, how I will find it slowly. And I just think actors are just one component of the entire scenario, nothing more than that.
But so that's how you understand acting, the craft. But why are you an actor? You started as in theatre, and I've heard some conversations in which you've mentioned that you're not sure sometimes if you think acting is your hobby, right? I mean, acting on screen. And you began with training in theatre. So why are you an actor? What is the purpose of an actor?
I don't. You, after this interview, I'll be very sad, I think.
Why is that? Am I torturing you?
No, because I really don't think I'm an actor. I always, on a day-to-day basis, I always think I should have studied something else. Because it was never my passion. As a child, I never thought of me acting. I never did acting, nothing. I have done plays in school, but like fun. Probably dance was one thing I liked. Other than school, I loved physics, maths, everything. But dancing was something that I liked extra. I remember, but I never even liked films. I would fall asleep. My parents used to take me to most releases, but I used to fall asleep. I liked animation films more, or like I was always a little bored by films and things like that. I liked live performances. I liked music and dance. But so I never had that passion. So when I started acting in a theatre also, it was not because I wanted to act. They couldn't find a female to act, a female character. So my parents were very progressive. So this theatre group asked, do you think Kani can come? And I was very rigid about going there. I was like, I don't want to do a play. It's whatever. And my mother said, you go and you check in. If you don't like, don't do it. But do it. So when I went, it was a comedy play. So that's why I got gelled, and it had a lot of dance. So I had fun.
So
and
the
I was
physicality of the performance is interesting,
which I love. And I enjoyed that. And when I was just 15-year-old, and I really loved it. But the second play was very serious and different. Then I was like, what is happening? So slowly, eventually...
And you like that also?
The process I liked. I don't know if I enjoyed the acting. The process was the theatre process to get into that character really helped me understand myself. That is the first time I was like, okay, I love theatre because this is helping me to understand my own self and behave in a way, understand what is wrong, right. It suddenly helped me expand my brain in a nice way. So I was like, okay, I should do theatre every year, once in a while, to be able to just, it's helping me expand my mind. This is what I thought. But acting, it took years for me to start liking, because this theatre school I went to, I particularly wanted to learn clowning, buffoon, puppetry, mask, those things. Not about, being on stage and performing was not my thing.
So the physicality
yes,
of
those
performance.
were the things I liked, and I started doing films because to earn money, actually. So that's how it happened. So I still, like, when you say why you're an actor, I really don't think I should have been an actor. That's really my question every day, because I know a lot of people who are really good actors, and I'm like, I'm taking their space, is what I feel genuinely.
So you feel like an imposter?
Yes,
Little
I do.
bit.
Yes, a little bit. And I don't know any other
That's
job.
also because you're a woman. Most women when they get success tend to
No,
think they
it has
don't.
always been. It's
Yeah.
nothing to do with this year.
With
Every
this-
year,
this
every
year.
time I've been saying this. It is not to do with success or anything. It's just like, I think I am best at something else.
Got it.
I am trying my best in this. I'm not saying I'm lazy, but I'm not the best in this because I this is not my talent.
Yeah.
My talent is something else, and I never practiced that, and I could have been much better in that. That's what I mean by this.
I got it. Today you have just done All We Imagine As Light. Look, Barack Obama will recognize you if he sees you.
Yeah, but I don't think so. But okay.
He's gonna recognize you.
Laugh right now, but
Yeah.
no, that's what I'm saying. I don't have this. I genuinely don't have this thing for to act and all. If it's comedy, I may have. Comedy is one thing that genre.
you enjoy.
Yeah, if something comedy comes, I may immediately say yes. It's,
Okay.
even if it's just looking so bad, I'll
Yeah.
still say because I really thoroughly
Enjoy.
enjoyed. That is definitely there. Black humor. I love all that. That's really something I like. Otherwise,
So Killer Soup was fun.
it was fun. First of all, it had a great cast. Of course, Manoj
I
sir.
saw you first in Killer Soup, by
Okay.
the way. I hadn't seen the work
My
before,
character,
but
again,
yeah.
to Abhishek
Yeah.
sir, I said, my character is not the most interesting for me. I was just happy to be part of the
Yeah,
genre, and
yeah.
I was happy to be with
Yeah.
these actors because Manoj sir and Konkana
Yeah.
is, of course, they are, Konkana ma'am, both of them are really great. But also I discovered many other actors in it when we did the reading. This Sayaji Shinde
Yeah,
sir,
yeah.
I did not know him before. I've seen him in something, but he's really incredible. So to watch him act he's completely different, but when he performs, he just really transformed to somebody else. So I was very happy to be part of it, and Abhishek sir is one of my favorite director. Whoever I have worked with so far in life, I think the least miscommunication was for me with him to me. Like, you know, sometimes you completely understand what the director says. He's very good with actors like that. He immediately knows, I think, how to direct this particular actor.
So the film that Barack Obama will recognize you for. I mean, if you're walking in an airport or somewhere and he sees you, he will say, Kani Kusruti from
I
All
don't-
We Imagine As Light. Or he might even call you by your character's name, Prabha from All We Imagine As Light.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying then. You're going on
Okay.
your own trip.
That's true. I'm tripping now. So the question basically is that this massive global acclaim for this film, it's still soaking up global acclaim, right? So why do you think it's connected so much? Is it really a classic example of the power of cinema, which is it can be very culturally specific, it can be very geographically rooted, and yet the impact can be universal?
I think that is cinema anyway.
Yeah.
Like any cinema, the more regional you go, I have felt the more global it is going to resonate. That is never a confusion. Any regional films in India or any part of the world can travel in anywhere, because I think we all will understand each other that very well. But why this film is celebrated, I sometimes feel like sometimes some films are hit also like that. You're like, why is this such a super hit? Like, why it's running this much?
It's like if you believe in astrology, all the stars have aligned for all of you. Like everything is aligned, right?
I don't believe in astrology, but
Yeah,
okay.
nor do I. But I'm just saying, if you
I'm just saying that
yeah.
sometimes it is a phenomena, you don't know how this is happening.
But what are you hearing? Because you've been at festivals,
Yeah.
you're interacting with journalists from
I
different
have
parts
heard
of the
all.
world.
Like, it's some people really love it. I have heard from my close people also difference of opinions. Like, these things work, the characters work, this character worked, but the whole film didn't work. Aesthetically, this part was more connecting, the second part didn't connect. Some people, first part didn't connect, second part. So all kinds of I have got, but largely it's been resonating.
Yeah.
Like,
Why do you think so?
that's what I said. Like I also don't know, not about just All We Imagine As Light. Any film that has gone this kind of triumph journeys of kind, sometimes when you watch it, you're like, how to get this much, what is there? Like, I also wonder. I don't know. I don't have an answer like you. If I were to be not part of this film and I were to watch, I may wonder, like, wow, this film had a great journey, and I don't know, like, it's good, but what is it so much also? I would wonder, like, I don't know. That's how I think.
Destiny. Do you believe in destiny?
I really don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Oh God, I better stop asking you these questions. You will feel it feels like I've stuck you there with these massive mics, which I'm using for the first time.
I'm
so
a
I'm very
very
excited.
strong atheist and rationalist, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
think as destiny. But
Yeah.
I know like there is a reason why this an emergent phenomena can happen, and for that we need a lot of collection of data to predict an emergent phenomena that can be predicted. You know.
So are you enjoying it?
I'm very happy. All of us are happy.
Huh. What's given you most happiness? The extra recognition, the global recognition, the travel, the maybe new roles, more work. There are many things that come with this kind of success.
I think I've been always happy when someone who has seen me, like from childhood, who has seen my acting for a longer period of time. If in these films, whenever some of them have reached out to me and said, Kani, this is the growth you had. I've seen all of your work. Now this growth you have. So recognizing that, and I am feeling, okay, maybe I have grown rather being in the same place. That is happiness. Then some very strange actors from different part of the world, because we got to travel or we got to interact with them, who are also rigorously practicing their craft a lot, and whom we don't know each other, but after watching the film, they recognizing some of the things you've done, like, you know, that was not easy, like, and that's like a fellow artist from another part of the world who hasn't seen your journey but yet recognizing because they are on the same
They're
path.
fellow travelers, yeah.
Yes, that is a different kind of happiness. These two happiness with this kind of a thing, but
no, like, really.
Huh?
I mean, like, come
these
on.
are really what is given me
like,
happiness.
I would have been so excited that Barack Obama seen this film. He might recognize me.
These are neverly not my happiness.
Not at all.
Not at all. Like, not even a bit. I find it little
like that kind of standing ovation when you all went up to
standing
receive the
ovation.
award at Cannes.
Maybe people have felt, but I haven't felt that much. Again, it's not because standing ovation is not great. I have worked in France in a theatre group, and even in that I have gotten even better responses in terms of when you do a play, you get a standing ovation and you go back on stage, they will continue clapping, so you come back on stage, so we come back like some 20 times. Such things have happened many times. You're coming back and because you did a great show, so I've been pampered like that maybe. So I knew it, so I understand that was great. But for me, specific happiness that have touched me is when my like fellow actors or people I grew up with who watched me, and they specifically recognize something. Or also fellow artists who have not seen anything of mine but still recognizing a certain moment I did in the film, not the whole thing. That has given me like a special happiness. I've recognized that happiness. Then when Payal won the Grand Prix, that there was a moment I felt the happiness. I'm just saying, like, where the moments I...
You know, I really enjoyed watching all of y'all on the promenade, on stage, because I felt, I mean, I hope I'm not sounding harsh to people in mainstream movies and entertainment, but everything seems very airbrushed, you know. People don't seem real. People seem as if they've come from the same mold. Y'all looked like y'all were being yourselves, and yet, you know, festive and glamorous, but not worried about how you're looking, what people are thinking, which I get that, you know. What makes you so free? What made... And it's not just on Cannes, all of you, but even in your conversations, in your interactions, you don't seem to be like the actors, the prototype actor. That's not a bad thing. It's actually a compliment. I'm making it sound like it's not a compliment, but it's actually a compliment. I'm just curious about how do you retain...
I think for this show business, some of these is needed sometimes. That's why maybe they are doing it too. I don't think it is if they have a choice, maybe they won't do it.
You don't feel the pressures?
I don't, because I think I grew up like that, and it's not, it's also choice you make, and sometimes sometimes you may want to do it. As long as it's all a choice and you like to do, it's great, but sometimes it becomes like a pressure, and that is sad. But I think for every work, you may have your own pressure for your work, things that you don't agree but you have to do. But all of us have like that.
No, I've stopped.
You've stopped?
Yeah.
So that's one thing, like sometimes you grow into a place where you're not going to compromise on these things. But I think like the more, I think actors are becoming less of that maybe, I don't know, or more, I don't know, like I can't comment for others, but for me, I think because I did theatre, or Divya also, I know from some time we have always been goofy, and and she's I don't know, maybe she works with other film crew, I don't know if she's like that, but with our crew, all of us were just us, and Chaya ji has been also great.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we were while we were shooting. In fact, going to Cannes was, even though it was Cannes or it's that and all, it was an extension to our journey also, right? We just finished the shoot. It's been only a few months that time, and we were all seeing it like, oh, we finished our shoot. Like, what are you doing now? Like that kind of, we were in that kind of a spirit. So that's why maybe it came through. I think for me, it is nothing now. I've been always this only. And I think Divya or other actors in the film also, they all have their own journey to be that or not to be that. But I don't have any pressure. Nobody is giving anyone any pressure like that, I think.
Clearly not. That's good. That's wonderful, actually. Yeah. And I think that's something I found very attractive as I've tracked your work over the past year. And like I said, I saw you first in Killer Soup, then I went and saw Biryani. I said, who's this woman? Then I went and saw Biryani. I saw...
Did you see Poacher? No.
I saw Poacher. Okay. I've seen... Cocktail.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, I saw Biryani. I saw Nagendra's Honeymoons. I saw Girls Will Be Girls. I saw All We Imagine Is Light. So I've seen not all your work, but I've seen some of it. But I'm curious about the characters you play, and an actor is playing different characters, and I'm guessing that's the thrill. But I heard you say in a conversation on Girls Will Be Girls that you couldn't get this mother, and you would have got out of the daughter's way, right?
Yeah.
Which is a character that comes closest to you? Because even Prabha...
Not at all like me. Like, I don't like her only. I'm like, why would she be like...
Which one? The
Prabha from All We Imagine As Life.
You didn't get her at all?
No, I got her. Yeah. The moment I read, I got her.
No, like, you got her?
As in when I read, I understood, because I know many women like that.
Yeah.
But Anila, I did not. Girls Will Be Girls, I don't know him. But later, after a lot of people watching, I get messages, my mother is like this, or I was like this. Yeah. Many people are writing to me, but I did not know anyone like that. But Prabha, I know many women like that. I just don't like when people are like that. I'm like, move on. Take charge of your life. Like, I get a little impatient with people like Prabha.
No, but now I know why Payal reached out to you for the other character, because I can see you being that woman.
So I think
basically you want to live on your own terms. I relate to Prabha. Somebody who's successful, somebody who's independent, but who still is very restrained, is still letting society sort of dictate.
I know also,
dictate the things she should or shouldn't do.
No, even the film, what the film gave me was, at least I think me personally is more inclusive of people like Prabha. Before I'm like, I will be nice to them, but inside I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, this is how I'll be. Yeah, so I think I will be more open-minded after doing this film, just to be inclusive of people like that. But otherwise, I'm not like even Anu. Even Anu is not enough for me. I'm like, go with your life. Why are you so... Actually, I don't have any... I think no characters I've played so far is like closest to me. Sure. But there's one character I played that I love doing is Mona Lisa Paul from OK Computer.
Oh, which I haven't seen.
Most people don't like the series because it's a bit strange to them or whimsical, whatever.
But what a fabulous cast. I've just not managed to see it.
But many people, there are people who love the show, love it. But not everyone received it well, I think.
But you liked it very much.
I love my character. I think it's the best character. When I felt happy, I felt like I never want to act anymore. Playing Mona Lisa Paul, I was like, even though I'm not saying it was a lot, it's just my feeling. I'm not, maybe when you watch, you're like, oh, why she felt that much, maybe one would feel. But it's just my feeling. As an actor, because we rehearsed also a lot. So I got to be Mona Lisa for a longer period of time. And all that I enjoyed, and I loved being her. I just wanted to get into her and come out. It was like a trip. That feeling, I don't have it with any character I played. Can I just be her and come back? Can I just be her and come back? So I just felt maybe I have a bit of her somewhere in me. Is that why I'm loving it more or something I thought? So for me, not the characters that I did, but sometimes my co-characters like is close to me or something I felt. Like for example, Girls Will Be Girls, Meera's character is little bit, I can, not everything, some things I could relate. But nothing that I played, like characters I've seen in stories or films, like this MT's one. Sorry, I mean he just passed away.
Legend.
Yes.
Legend.
So his this Ennu Sondam Janaki Kutti, this actress called Jomol, she played. That character, I used to feel very close to me at that age. I'm not saying right now. I've identified with her a lot. And then there is this Malayalam film called Aranyakam. The heroine's character also, I have identified with myself a lot. Back then, again, once I grew up, it all changed. So that way you relate, like, or some characters like Mohanlal has played, for example. There's no gender also, like I feel this character like that, but nothing that I played except this Mona Lisa Paul. And that one award I won in Filmfare for Critics Best Comedy. I was very happy to win it. I felt that's the one day I understood, oh, this is how actors must be feeling when they do also feel good about what you did. And then you win. Most of the time when I win, I'm like, no, I didn't do a good job. I don't know why. This is the feeling I get. I think OK Computer is the only time I was like, I'm happy I got it. I'm happy I did it. I'm happy I got to play it. I feel very lucky, something like that.
So all your fans should try and see OK Computer.
No, I'm just saying,
if
like,
they value your work.
Most people may not like it, but it just I was very happy.
So Prabha is not like you. Prabha of All We Imagine is Light. And Anila?
No, that not at all. Like, I don't understand Anila. Like, it's leave like me. I'm like, who? Like, you know, sometimes when you meet a person, you're like, wow, man, a character only this person. Anila is like, I mean, wondering what is this person. Prabha, I know people like this. And if I'm friends with a person like Prabha, I'll try to drag her out of it as much as I can. If they don't come out, after that, I'll get tired. I'm like,
move on.
You go away. I can't be friends with you like that.
But Anila, girls will be girls. You know, when the movie starts off, I'm like thinking that it can take two distinctive turns. One is that it can be this perfect girl, the head prefect falling from grace as she comes of age, and the other could be the mother. You know, a mother has a love affair with the young girl's object of affection or desire. And interestingly, it sort of goes the first part, but it sort of makes you confused a little bit. What explain? I mean, I know Suchi Talati is the person I should have this conversation
with.
But
I also find Shuchi's mind that way very interesting. Like, because I mean, Shuchi definitely doesn't want to put people in one bottle. Like she's like, it's a flowing thing. It's not exactly right or wrong. Does Anila like a certain attention? Yes, she does. Certain charm she's getting, she likes, but will she go to an extent of having an affair with that boy? No, she won't, is what Shuchi would say.
The mother is still...
Mother is mother only, but a bit of that she likes. You know, we are complex people like that. Oh, young boy is appreciating something, she's little bit liking that. That much only. But at the same time, she is the mother and wanting, like, it's there. It's neither, it's in the middle of all that plays. So that's why it was, I think it was a little difficult for me to also find the character. Because I am very, personally, I am very, this is right and this is wrong kind of person. But my right is very open-minded also. I'm like, okay, this is your personal thing, so it is nothing to do with me. You have the right to do. So I'll have no judgment. But I have very, even when I'm extremely open-minded, I still think this is right and this is wrong to do, or what is right.
And where you're concerned.
Yes, and I constantly try to also talk about it with my friends and ask them, can you critique me on this? Like, how did you think of my choice of decision in this particular aspect in my personal life? Things like that I do discuss. And I have a right and wrong, and I don't, if I have a unexplored feeling or something, I pay attention to it and I listen to it, and I'm like, okay, this is but not right, so don't do it. Or it is right, so I'll explore. It will be that. I'll take the decision quickly. Kani, like myself, I'll be like that. But Anila, I felt like, I don't know, like a different kind of being, like far away from me, but I don't think she's someone who would have the affair with the, like that's not how I saw her. She's a, she was a charming girl when she was young, Anila, and then she didn't get enough. She had a young love marriage and everything, then get only raising child. She wants to be, like,
it's very clear that
like she likes modern clothes, she wants all that, and maybe her husband is not there always, so somebody giving some attention, she like, so all of the mix of all that, and that I think only Shuchi can come. Like I was like, what is this woman? When I read it, I'm like, why this mother is like this?
So what are you playing next?
I have done one Malayalam film. I mean, I'm just doing one character in it, Dileesh and all is acting in it, and then I did a Malayalam web series which will come out, I don't know when. one Hindi film also we did last year, December. I don't know what it will
Is
turn.
the kind of work that you're getting, are you being approached for more work, different work?
I don't feel that way.
You
I mean,
don't feel that way.
I've been approached for Maharani season 4. I've been doing Maharani,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that is there. Then there is some 2-3 interesting stories came, but that is nothing to do with this. It has been there a year before
Sure.
already. People were already telling me, Kani, there is something, and I don't know when that will happen. But those are some projects that I also like. I didn't feel any particular work came because of this journey of the film. This I am not feeling. Yeah.
What are you feeling? I think that should be our final question. What are you feeling?
I am tired now. No, I'm happy to be back home. I want some time to myself and home. And other things I feel is all very personal. So I don't know how to say that. Professionally, I think I'm happy, and I think I want. I always go back to some bit of learning always, and it is time to again do workshop and practice a bit so that you have some understanding where your craft is right now. That is something I'm feeling
Yeah.
before going into some other work right now.
You're in a good space.
Yeah, I'm generally in a good space person. I'm not somebody who I only feel low when some dear ones or myself feel physically sick. Otherwise, I'm generally always a chill person.
Always a chill person. Well, we think you got us the cool factor in the movies, so that's great. And we wish you a lot of good luck. And
Thank you.
I'm glad that we are here in Goa, in your space.
In this heat.
In this heat, but in Goa, in your space,
Yeah.
in a setting obviously that you feel good
Yeah.
about. So
I
thank
only
you.
planted all this.
You planted all this?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Most
good.
things I have planted.
That's wonderful.
That's
So
one thing I like.
gardening, a green thumb. Basically,
I
just
think
to
all
grow
Kerala
things.
people do
Yeah.
plant.
Yeah.
It's nothing. We don't have this hobby called gardening. We just plant. Everybody I know plants in Kerala, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I'm delighted that after I've done a year on YouTube, and this conversation called Keep Talking, and this is the first time I've used these massive
Absolutely.
podcaster mics. So maybe I'm now officially a
It
podcaster.
feels retro.
It feels retro. Yeah. All these years I've spent trying to hide the mic and make it seem like the cameras are not there. Now you want people to know that the cameras are there.
Yeah.
So
It is also honest, and
It's-
it's
yeah.
also graceful
it's new.
to accept.
Yes. Kani, thank you so much. I wish you a lot of good luck.
Thank you.